All right, today we're going to take a tour, a microscopic architectural tour of the most important boundaries in all of existence. We're talking about the structures that, for every single living cell, make that crucial call: what gets in and what stays out. So let me ask you a question. What's the real difference between a brick wall and, say, the velvet rope outside a nightclub? It sounds simple, right? But it actually gets right to the heart of our story. See, one is this rigid fortress, built to keep pretty much everything out. The other, it's a selective barrier, where a bouncer decides exactly who gets past. And believe it or not, that is the perfect way to think about the two cellular boundaries we're diving into. Okay, first, a super quick refresher. The cell. It's the basic, fundamental building block of every living thing. Doesn't matter if it's a massive redwood tree or, you. It all starts right here, with these tiny little units. So, with that in mind, let's look at their outer layers. Our first stop on the tour is the cell wall, and this is our biological brick wall. It's the tough, rigid, outermost layer for certain kinds of life. Now, here's a detail that is absolutely crucial. You will not find a cell wall in your own cells. Not in any animal's cells, actually. This super tough outer layer, it's exclusively for plants, fungi, and bacteria. This is one of those fundamental splits in the tree of life. So what does this fortress actually do? Well, its jobs are mission critical. First, it's all about protection from physical damage and any nasty invaders. It also gives the cell this really rigid structural support, almost like an external skeleton, which helps it maintain its shape. It even helps direct which way the cell grows and can act as a little pantry, storing up carbohydrates. So if you're ever struggling to picture what's going on, just imagine a tiny living cell wearing a custom-fit suit of armor. It's tough, it's rigid, and its whole purpose is defense and structure. But what's underneath that suit of armor? And what do cells like ours have instead of that wall? Well, let's peel that layer back and meet our nightclub bouncer, the cell membrane. And here we go. This is probably the biggest difference of all. Unlike that exclusive cell wall, the cell membrane, sometimes called the plasma membrane, is universal. Every single living cell on this planet has one, from the teeniest little bacterium to the neurons firing in your brain right now. This is the true, fundamental boundary of life itself. The membrane's job is so much more dynamic. It protects the cell and helps it keep its shape, but it's also a super busy communication hub, constantly getting signals from the outside world. And of course, most importantly, it's that velvet rope, a highly selective gate that is actively controlling what comes in and what goes out. Okay, so we've met our two contenders, the fortress and the gatekeeper. Now, let's put them right next to each other to really nail down the differences. Let's just walk through this. First up, presence. The wall is only in some organisms, the membrane is in all of them. Simple enough. Next, what are they made of? The wall is built from tough stuff like cellulose, while the membrane is this flexible layer of lipids and proteins. That, of course, leads to their structure. The wall is thick and rigid. The membrane is thin and fluid. And finally, and this is a huge one, the wall is metabolically inactive. It's just a passive barrier. The membrane, on the other hand, is absolutely buzzing with activity, constantly using energy to move molecules around. And all of that really boils down to this one crucial difference: permeability. The cell wall is what we call fully permeable. Think of it like a chain link fence. It'll stop the big stuff, but small molecules can just wander right through. The cell membrane, though, is selectively permeable. It's more like a solid wall with guarded gates, meticulously checking the ID of every molecule that wants an entry pass. And just to give you a sense of the difference in structure, look at the scale. A cell wall can be several micrometers thick. Now, for perspective, a single human hair is about 70 micrometers wide, so at the cellular level, this is a seriously substantial structure. Now compare that to the cell membrane. It's only 7.5 to 10 nanometers thick. A nanometer is 1,000 times smaller than a micrometer. That means the membrane is hundreds, sometimes even thousands of times thinner than the wall. It is an incredibly delicate, fluid layer in comparison. So, a thick wall versus a thin membrane. Why does any of this matter? What's the big deal about this fundamental architectural choice in the grand scheme of things? Well, this is where it all clicks into place. That collection of millions of rigid cell walls is exactly what allows a plant to defy gravity and stand tall. It's structural support on a massive scale. Animal cells, on the other hand, with their flexible membranes, don't have that rigidity. But that very same flexibility is what allows them and us to move, to change shape, to be dynamic. So I'm going to leave you with this final thought.
If you had the choice, if you could be the architect of your own cells, would you trade the flexibility you have for the protection and the pure rigidity of a cell wall? It really is the ultimate biological trade-off, isn't it? The fortress versus the freedom to move. Definitely something to think about. Thanks for tuning in.